welcome to another episode of the Niche Girls podcast. I'm Kristen.
I'm Yolanda.
I'm Jessie.
Yay! And we are here today with kind of a hot take
Yeah,
Oh,
kind
yeah,
of.
topic.
a
I
little bit.
guess I think people are going to have some strong opinions. I know I do. I know Yolanda does. So today we're just going to jump right into it. We're going to talk about why Disneyland. Well, we're gonna get into it, but we're gonna basically talk about what's one thing from Disneyland we would add to the Magic Kingdom,
One thing.
one thing, and then one thing from the Magic Kingdom we would add to Disneyland Park. So we're not talking about Disneyland as a whole. We're not going to include California Adventure and Epcot and all that stuff. We're just going to keep it like Castle Park to
Disneyland,
Castle Park.
Try to
So
keep
it's
Magic
it
like
Kingdom.
trimmed down. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're going to try to keep it trimmed down because I mean, me especially, and Yolanda, we've had many conversations about this, could really jump off a cliff with the things
Yeah.
that we would add, I think, either way. So we're trying to keep it as simple as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and this kind of comes on the heels of, Yolanda, Jessie, and I had a conversation yesterday, and we've kind of noticed this trend on social media of people noticing, maybe for the first time, or maybe they're just really fed up, that Disneyland gets all the cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we don't really, at Disney World, we don't get a lot of cool stuff. So,
Well, okay, so we got the really cool Nightmare Before Christmas popcorn bucket, and then Disney turns around and goes, "Hey, we have it too." And it's like, "Wow, we had one for Walt Disney World." And then Disneyland's just like, "Nah, don't worry, we got it. Don't worry."
And then
yeah,
they
and not
come out
only
with
does
like
Disneyland get,
a whole other,
go
like
ahead,
the
yeah,
the sipper and the other,
Ugh,
but like,
right.
I
Yeah.
know.
Not
There's
only do they get what we have, but then they get like 10 other things that are 10 times
yeah,
more awesome that we don't have. And it's like,
a Minnie
okay,
Winnie, a Mickey Skelly. Ugh,
yeah.
I
Or
can't.
for instance, even
yeah.
just like I was really, we were excited in the last episode about like the Halloween food that we got. We thought it was great. And then
We
we
were
see
so excited.
Disneyland's list and you're like, what the heck, man? Like this food, it's because our food also is very themed. It's cool. But like their food is not only different, it's also decorated beautifully. And I do know that they have to make less of it, but from a consumer
It's just
standpoint,
themed a little bit better.
It
That's
is.
that's
just
what Jesse and I
better.
noticed. We were at the opening night of Mickey's Not So Scary, and I'm actually headed back. The food is great and it's cute. It's so cute, but there's no theme. Like there's no Haunted Mansion theming. There's no Hocus Pocus theming. There's no, there's nothing that like ties it together. And then you look at the Disneyland list, and it's like Oogie Boogie this and like it kind of follows more of like a
They
theme.
have a
So
Ghost Rice
Poison
Krispie.
apple stuff.
Like,
Yeah, Ghost Rice Krispie,
yeah.
Poison apple macaroon. Like they have like
yeah,
stuff. So
They
I know.
Disney-fied their food, whereas we just kind of got like zombie fingers,
I mean, the zombie
candy
figures
corn
were
milkshake. Like it's cute.
they were cute and they were delicious and I loved it, but yeah, it was just very general Halloween. It wasn't like Disney specific Halloween, and they get a
yes.
lot of Disney specific Halloween, including like you just said, all the sippers, all the new cups, the new straws. They have new the glow cubes. Like
Ah,
all of these things are very Disney specific, and ours are just like, "Happy Halloween, here's some Halloween. Let me throw you a candy
that's a
corn
very good way to put
milkshake."
it. Yeah, that's a good way to
You
put it.
know?
Ours are just general and theirs are
Ours are very general Halloween, which I mean, I'm super happy with. Don't get me wrong, I love general Halloween. But give me a Disney Halloween, I'm bound
Yeah.
to
up
buy
there.
every single one of those things.
Yeah, when I
And I
went to
feel
Oogie
like
Boogie,
this
I had
was
like a list of food that just food because it was so cool.
Yeah,
Like I loved it.
yeah, I
And I
know.
was
yeah.
and I was by myself. I wasn't even like taking pictures for social. Like it was to just live on my phone.
Yeah.
Like
Just because you enjoy
Because
it
it's
and you
cute.
want
because
to
it was
see
so
those things.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. I feel like this was the year too because the Haunted Mansion movie came out. So it's like give us some cool treats that are like kind of themed to the movie to make me want to
Yeah.
go. I mean, I already want to see the movie.
It's very cute.
But
Yeah, I
to
haven't seen it yet.
I know me neither. I have kids. I never get out of my house. But give me something like that to make me like to market it a little bit better, like some cross
Yeah.
promotion. I think that was a real missed opportunity on their part, but I feel like I'm screaming into the void. Like, why do they get all of this great stuff?
I know. Or at least, like,
Why?
I get that they want to release, different things at each park, but give us a little more. Like, we've
Yeah.
had the Mickey Mummy for, what, 2 or 3 years in a row?
This will be the
Yeah.
third if they
It comes
release
out.
If they
It
bring him
comes out
back, yeah.
halfway to Halloween. It comes out on Halloween. Like we get the same Mickey
Yeah.
Mommy popcorn bucket.
Yep.
It
We
does.
got the Donald Zipper again this year,
Yep.
which, I mean, again, he's adorable and I
So
love
cute.
him, but
But
give me
you're
something
just
new.
yeah. Just yeah. There's a
You can
lot of
do
like
it. They can
Florida
do it,
fans.
obviously.
Yeah, you clearly can do it. It's just a matter of like getting it over here. And I think what's also
I know.
interesting is like when it comes to sippers and popcorn buckets, like it will sell, and that holiday ones specifically sell really well. So, like the 50th
Yep.
ones at the end, but like these are holiday ones. People love holiday ones. Also, don't even get me started
Yeah.
about like when they come out routinely with all these new Marvel characters based on the mini shows they're doing. I always chalk it up to like, well, we can't do Marvel here, and I understand it, so I let it go.
I
But
get
like
it.
then Grogu and Din happened, and I was like, okay. But then they brought it over here a little bit later, so I was like, this is fine. But now they're getting Ahsoka as well, while doing
I
like
saw that.
Ahsoka premiere events here, and that is like what? Like bring her here. We have a Galaxy's Edge too. Premiere them at both. And she looks so good, so good. And so
Yeah.
I just like there's no reason, especially when because as in like Marvel, I can't say anything too. But there is no reason that we can't premiere that here first. Like
Yeah.
give us
We're on
a
the
little
same day.
something. Yeah, since we can't
And
have Marvel. Like
it's their own doing, too, because they're the ones that set up two exact lands on both coasts, right? Like, they could have done, I've said this
that's
before,
true.
like, two separate planets for Star Wars, right? And
It's
then, like,
identical.
right, the offerings could have been different at each. And then I wouldn't have really had a problem that, like, okay, fine, Mandalorian is over there, but, like, we have this. And so
Yeah.
it's, like, it would have been two different experiences. But we've even said on this podcast, like, when we were in Disneyland, I didn't really spend a lot of time in
They're the
Batuu because
same.
it's just the same thing.
I walked through it for, not even kidding, 5 minutes
I
on my
walked through.
very, very
Mhm.
last day. I was
I went to the
like,
bar.
I'm not going to waste my time in here. It's exactly the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you
I went to
create
the
two
bar because
exact
it's new.
lands, and then you're like, one is going to have all these cool experiences, and the other is going to.
I will say at the bar in
Well,
there, they don't
I
do
don't
the
know.
little hay dance, so that's something we have that's different. You know how, like, in our bar, when that song
It's a
plays, we
big
all go, like,
difference.
hey, like, they don't do that there. That
Yeah.
song came on when David and I were in there, and all the bartenders just kept bartending, and we were like, okay.
Okay.
But yeah, it's the same. And that I could do a whole nother episode on that because the timeline that they chose for Batu, I have no idea why they stuck themselves at that point in Star Wars because they've excluded themselves from so many characters. Now you can never have Darth Maul, you can never have Leia. Like there is literally so many characters that they can never have walking around because of where they place themselves in the timeline. And it kills me.
That's a whole.
Thing.
You
That's a
can't
whole
have
nother thing.
anyone
Yeah, I
from the
don't-
original movies. You literally cannot have a single human from the original movies because you placed yourself in the Resistance era. And like
Okay, but just to play devil's advocate, they could technically still have those characters out by Star Tours
they could.
because Star Tours exists on its own
Everywhere.
little.
You know what?
Thing,
I like
you know?
devil's advocate. This is true. This is very true. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, if they wanted to.
Star
Yeah.
Tours. They don't
I mean,
want to.
that would be cool. So they probably won't do it.
No,
but,
they
you
don't
know.
want to do that for us.
Nah.
That would be really cool, and it would get people in the door. So they probably won't do it.
No. They'll be like,
Who cares?
Better not. Okay, who wants to go
Nah.
first? Who has your first thing you would? Let's do the Disneyland version, like what you would bring here from Disneyland.
What we'd bring from Disneyland to Magic Kingdom.
Magic Kingdom, yes.
Okay, I have two. I don't have one. I have two.
Okay, that's
So I was tossing between a couple different ones. So I've only been to Disneyland once, and it was last year, September. So I never got to see the Toonland.
Toontown.
Yes, Toontown. I never got to see Toontown. And I really wanted to go on Roger Rabbit's Spin, and I didn't get to. I know. I've heard it's amazing. So, like, my thought was originally to, like, take Toontown and drop it over here because I really miss ours. I remember when I was a kid growing up and playing in our Toontown and being in all of the fun big houses. And I have a friend in Disneyland who got me this amazing sipper. And, like,
I love it,
Toontown gets these amazing, fun little tiny like sippers. They get fun popcorn buckets again, like
The fold over
stuff that we're
pizza
never
and
gonna get
stuff. They
here.
have fun food. Like,
Yeah. Again,
Yeah.
stuff we're never gonna get here because it is Toontown related or it's like little tiny sippers like this. Like we don't get fun cups. We get like the big sippers, but not little fun cups. So it's one of those things that I was like, okay, well maybe I would take Toontown and I would bring that here because it's completely different. But again, I didn't get to see it. So it's only from like my imagination
Yeah.
and what I can see online. So that was kind of my like yes but no because
Yeah.
I don't really know what it is. So what
it
I
would fit.
actually picked, yeah, right?
It would fit.
So what I actually picked was Fantasyland. I literally want to bring their entire Fantasyland and drop it on our Fantasyland because the Alice in Wonderland ride, the Pinocchio ride, some of these old rides that I was like, what is this? How is this
Yeah.
here? How is all of this stuff fitting
With this.
into this Fantasyland? Yeah, tiny little area, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, like all of that in Fantasyland.
Yeah.
I want all of those original rides
And the look
here.
too. The
The
look
look,
of their
yeah. The
Fantasyland is
look,
so
the
cute.
feel, yeah, the way that the cardboards pop out. It's not like super animatronics. It's very original. And that was, if I was to go to Disneyland again, which I will, it's gonna happen. It's just a lot of money to get over there.
Yeah,
Um, it'll happen. But I really like. I wanted to spend all of my time in Fantasyland. We went to Disneyland, I think 4 times when we were up there for the week. And on the very last day, we only had like a couple hours. And Jake was like, "Where do you want to go?" And I was like, "Fantasyland. I want to ride
Yeah.
Alice. I want to ride Mr. Toad, and I want to ride Pinocchio." Like, oh, and the storybook canal.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
really like that going through Monster's mouth. Yeah, it was just
I
I
do.
loved it so much. Like I could spend all of my time in Fantasyland and be perfectly happy with my decision.
Yeah.
We
I
even
agree.
went
So,
on like
yeah.
a little kids train too in Fantasyland. Like we rode all the
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
Fantasyland rides.
storybook train
And I
too.
just I think
So
that's one
cute.
thing is it's because there's such a concentration of rides is most of the lines in Fantasyland are a little bit shorter, not in the peak of the day when there's more kids in the park, but
Not Alice.
on
Alice
the
was
edges. No,
long.
Alice I waited I think 45 minutes for. Alice was a chunk.
Yep.
But the rest of the
Alice I only got
lines,
to ride once. Yeah,
yep,
it was too
same.
long.
Yeah, but the rest of the
And of
rides
course,
relatively
I had Genie Plus, but it didn't
I
work.
didn't. I didn't. I just yeah. I waited for all of them, but like the rest of them, like I said, they weren't bad. We rope dropped Fantasyland, so we like headed straight into the park, but we didn't make it on Alice before lines started getting longer. But I just think it's a perfect like area for kids too. Like there's so much to look at and see, and you really do feel like you're like in a little land. Whereas ours is so big and spread
Yeah.
out, you don't kind of get that same
It's not the
magic.
same. It's
You know,
no, not at
No.
all. And like even their teacups, like the lanterns above the teacups, like
love their
it's
teacups.
beautiful. I did not go on the teacups because I would get severely sick, but I
Yeah.
watched it for a good like 20, 30 minutes just watching them spin around and taking pictures of them and videos of them. And I was like, "Oh my God, this is so pretty." Ugh, like I
It
loved
is.
it.
It is. It's outside. It's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
All right, Yolanda, you go. What would
Okay,
you?
mine is funny, and it's just because I didn't expect it. If I could, I'll do like what Jessie did first. If I could do a serious one, it honestly would be the Indiana Jones ride. I was just really blown away by the build out of it, but I know that our dinosaurs is relatively the same, so I'm not going to choose that. But it deserves an honorable mention. The thing that surprised
There you
me the
go.
most was the canoes because we were in Adventureland for Thunder Mountain was shut down when we were there, and then I had like a list of foods everywhere, and Hungry Bear was one of them because they had a pumpkin like funnel cake with like pumpkin cheesecake ice cream, and then it was so like I saw pictures of the one we have right now for the Halloween party, and
Oh my God.
this one was 20 times better. I don't want to talk about it. I can shoot a picture
Oh
of
yeah.
it. It's on my phone. I'll do that. But we went on the canoes after. There was no line. And it's like a mini jungle cruise, but around the same area that the Liberty boat goes around in Magic Kingdom. And it was hysterical. You go on kind of the same little route. You go around the whole circle. They make you like literally paddle the whole time. I don't know if the canoes are on a thing, but you paddle. You do it. Do you need to paddle? I don't actually know. Who knows? I'll never can tell you.
But you do it.
It was really warm out, but they were hilarious. I might have a video. They just, like, the jokes that they were telling, it's constant puns. It's, like, just pun after pun. And we did it, like, I think 3 times through the whole week because it was so funny. And, like, every joke is different. It was just amazing. And I think it's a very sleeper thing that we don't have here. And if you see it, if you see it and you're coming from Disney World, you're probably not going to make it your first thing. But I just thought it was really fun. I will add that when I consider the mechanics of it, it would be miserable here in the summer. I'm not even going to front. It would be really bad here during the summer.
Oh, yeah.
But during, like, October through March, it would be amazing. And I loved it. So if you're there, go on them because it was just so good. Didn't expect it.
Yeah.
I love that.
You know?
All right, Kristen, you're up.
Mine is super easy. I would bring Mr. Toad over.
Yeah,
Done. It's the
Mr. Toad.
Yeah, I was upset
She's
when
like,
we
yeah,
lost ours. Done. Just move it. I don't understand what the problem is. Like, just
I wish
move it over here.
someone to this day could have recorded my face on Mr. Toad. I didn't know what it was about. I didn't look it up. I just didn't know. And so I was horrified.
me neither.
The entire
Toad's
ride.
super weird, and it's just awesome. And ours was a little bit different when we did have one here, but I'm still salty that they got rid of it like 20 years later. And it's just, I don't get
It's
it.
amazing.
Just bring it
It's
back over
something.
here.
It's something. If you haven't ridden it, the storyline will get you for sure. It is a treat.
Yeah,
I
my
loved
kids
it.
did not get it. Like, they were so confused, and like
I don't
Harper
think
gets
kids
off. And
do.
she's like, yeah, it was like the only dark ride she's ever gotten off, and like she's like crying. She's like, I didn't like that. It was so fast. I'm like, was it fast or was it just really weird?
I do think it needs to go slower. You missed so much. I had to go on it a couple times to
Yeah.
be like, wait, I didn't see that the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like, there's just, I don't know. I understand the need, like we've said this 1,000 times before, to have different things in different parks, and it serves a different audience, and I get it, and people come to Disney World regardless of what they put in, but I think
Yep.
it makes them lazy knowing that people are going to come here, and so they don't really imagine cool stuff for us, nor do they keep some of these really nostalgic kind of off the beaten path
Yeah.
things that like people really love, and
I feel
so-
like that's why Disneyland like stays more original because people go there for the originality. Like
it serves a different audience. I get
It
that,
does.
Yeah,
for sure.
listen,
have a
I'm
very
glad we still
large
have it
local
and it's still
following.
there. So
But the thing is, like, going back to they get all the cooler stuff. If Disneyland is trying to be more original, why are they getting all the cool things first? Like, why are they getting the Winifred Minnie Mouse sipper?
Yeah.
Why did they get the Hocus Pocus girls first? Bring that
Yeah.
here.
yeah, I think
Come on.
they needed to bring in people to Disneyland because Disneyland, again, it serves like a big annual pass holder base
Yeah.
in that Southern California area. Whereas Disney World, people come from all over the world
Everywhere.
to go
I
to
know.
Disney World. They don't go to Disneyland. So I feel like they have to bring people through the door to Disneyland. Whereas here, they rest on their laurels a little bit, which I get it. But
I
like,
get
you
it.
still have to serve your base here,
Yeah.
So, all right.
As I
so
said,
what
it's just
would we-
like the percentage of my paycheck that I should be saving, I give to them very loyally. And like we've said it in other podcasts, but like they have treated me this way for years and my actions don't change. It's the longest standing toxic relationship I had in my life. Like I just
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I
100%.
continue to complain about it and then not act differently. Like I literally just
No.
am like, well, I'll go back next week. Like
Yeah. Exactly. And that's the thing, like that's what would change it if is like people stopped going and people stopped buying the like mere tiny little nuggets that they give us, but I'm not gonna
That's
do
not gonna
that.
happen.
So it's like
No.
I'm enabling this monster that keeps breaking my heart every time a foodie guide drops, and it's like,
Breaking my
hey,
heart.
Disneyland's getting everything and we put some paint on your
It's-
purple wall. And
it's
you'll
that
love
for
it,
me,
and you'll take pictures in front of
a
it.
Foodie, every time a foodie guide drops for me because it's true. It's true
I
because,
said to
like I
Jessie
said, we
yesterday, I
can.
was like, I'm not even gonna read it. I'm not gonna read it because I'm just gonna stand here and start
Mad.
crying. Like it's just gonna be. But then I read it anyway, and I was
We get
upset.
like
Like I knew
placated,
I was
like
gonna be.
literally. It literally feels like a good job ribbon is what Disney World gets. Like we get like the crumbs,
Yeah.
like you said, the crumbs. Like, and maybe, the only thing I can think is maybe for some awful reason it's a different team. Like I don't know if anyone has insight on this. Maybe someone listening does, and you can let me know. But like maybe the Florida team of merchandise people are products of Florida because it would make sense. Because Florida, maybe Disneyland has a plethora of people. I really don't know, but like I just
I don't
don't
know.
understand
I
why
have
it's so
no
bad.
idea.
Like I just like maybe they're not. Maybe they don't speak. Maybe we think that like the merchandising people speak to each other and they don't. Like that's the only thing I can think
They
of. Is
don't.
maybe. But then why do we get the same Halloween clothing collections? They have to speak to each other. I can't be.
Yeah,
Like,
They
it's the
have to.
same.
they
So it's
have
like they
to.
just give them more stuff. I don't like. Don't even get me started on the food. Like they just. It's not just the merchandise. It's like everything.
No,
You know.
it's
Maybe people
it's
in
the
Florida
quality of
are
food. Is
crazier. Like maybe the Florida crowd, like they don't want to deal with the lines from the crowd. Like Figment Popcorn Bucket was, a 10-hour line. Maybe they don't want to be like,
Well, that's
"Hey,
the thing.
let's
Yeah.
let's throw this Winifred Minnie Mouse sipper in Walt Disney World and have an 8-hour line and kill our employees." Like maybe they're thinking on that end. That's just wishful thinking. I don't really know.
I think they
But
want attendance when they want attendance, right? So,
right.
like at the peak times of year, which let's face it, summer is not a peak time to visit Disney World
not.
anymore.
No,
It's the fall, because people think it's cooler when, spoiler
it's
alert, it's
It's
not.
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 So, but they have a lot to do here during the fall. So during the fall, they don't need to bring people here. People are coming.
Yeah,
So
True.
what are they going to do?
exactly.
Give people more reason to come? No, they don't want you here. They want you here
Yeah.
in the summer. So that's why they're giving you the stuff they give you and the discounts they give you is because they want to pull you in when it's slower, not at
Yeah.
their
Right.
peak times. So, but
I
Disneyland, I
do
think they
think we're
do need to
gonna.
bring those people in.
I do think they're gonna have to definitely find a strategy for that over the next coming years because like this summer, attendance definitely took a big hit, and I
It was
think also
slow.
it was really slow, and I think a lot of it has to do with like the heat and how it's getting worse, and so I think we'll see the busy times like keep changing at Disney World and keep scooting, and it'll definitely be interesting for both families and everything because it's hard with like to use your vacation club points, but your kids are still in school, but it's if you did happen to go to Disney World this summer, it still is pretty unbearable if to be there for the whole day. So if you don't
Yeah,
have a resort, it's rough. But
it
we
is.
can we can do the flip side of it. So things from Walt Disney
Yes.
World
Yeah.
that we would
Jesse,
bring
you
to
want
All
to
right,
go
Disneyland.
first?
Kristen. Who, me first?
Sure.
All right. So what I would take from Magic Kingdom and drop into Disneyland is okay, first of all, I'm going to take Batu Star Wars out of Disneyland. Take it out. I don't need it.
Shoo,
Okay?
shoo, shoo, shoo.
Put
I
it
like
somewhere
it.
else. I don't need it in Disneyland. So take that out and I want a Tron land. So put Tron
Ooh.
into Disneyland and give me like a tech land, you know?
Like
I know you
expand on
have
it. Like not
Tomorrowland, but
Tomorrowland, but like a tech land.
no, correct. Their Tomorrowland is very strategic. I love how they have their Tomorrowland. It's beautiful. Don't touch it. Move Batu somewhere else. I don't care where. Move it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Stay in Florida. I don't care. Whatever. Move it. Put Tron in there and give me some kind of tech land where you can have like a kid area where they can like press a bunch of buttons and like have fun, almost like the inside of Spaceship Earth here, like how they have
Yeah.
like that techie room at the bottom of Spaceship Earth, something like that, but for Tron. And then yeah, drop Tron in there because Disneyland, I feel like that's kind of where it was lacking a little bit for me. I mean, Magic Kingdom again lacks that too. We just got Tron. It's brand new.
We don't have a lot of throws, yeah.
So I thoroughly enjoyed Tron. I thought it was a super cool roller coaster. Do I wish it was longer? Yeah, but it is like it's a good like roller coaster. It's one of
Yeah.
the top on my list now. And I think Disneyland could really use a nice like coaster.
Real ride.
Um their Big Thunder was really cool, but it wasn't like I feel like
Of
ours
course.
whips you around more. Yeah, theirs was a little softer to me. But yeah, I do think it could use a coaster.
Hmm.
So that's my take on that.
Yo, what do you got?
I'm an old lady, so the thing that I would bring
Okay.
is actually the people mover that we have. I know there'd be really no way to.
Yes.
I
That was
really I know
mine.
they're. Oh, I'm so
I knew you guys
sorry.
were gonna pick that.
No, I just the
That's
people
why I
mover
was
is
like, I'm not gonna do that because
the
they're gonna
people
pick it. I
mover
knew
is
it.
probably like one of my favorite rides. So because I like I
Yeah.
said, I'm an elderly woman, so I don't really like thrills, but I love going through Space Mountain on that.
Yeah.
I like the little tour around Tomorrowland. I don't necessarily think it would fit space wise in there, and obviously all those rides have been there for so long you can't really build it through Space Mountain, but like to be able to like go through Space Mountain and then they're like Pizza Planet and they're just their little front area. Like I would love to take a tour from the top of Tomorrowland.
Okay, but hear me out. Put the people mover at Disneyland in Fantasyland so you can see the inside of Toad, you can see the inside of Pinocchio, you can see the inside of Alice.
This would be cute.
No?
Because then if you
I
don't
think
want to
that would be
ride them,
I
fun
would
because you could have little theming like throughout. I think that would be
I
great.
think the reason too that I would bring the people mover back to Disneyland is that the story of it is so tragic there. Like they put that Rocket Rods ride in and then that basically destroyed the track and now the tracks
Yeah.
just sit there like so it's like not even that they don't have it but the empty tracks sit there
or
like
they're
taunting
like
you.
skeletons.
Yeah, like
Like
you
That's
did
sad.
have this and it was really cool and it was
So,
something.
when they did have it at Disneyland, did it go through anything or was it just like around?
I believe it. I had again. They got rid of it a long time ago, and I did ride
I mean,
Rocket Rods. By the way, showing my age now, talking about being an old lady. Um, I don't remember what it went in there. I don't. I have no
okay.
recollection. Maybe somebody that remembers can comment and tell us. I do think
Yeah, I
it
would love to
probably did
know.
go inside like some sort of thing, but um,
I'll have to YouTube that one
yeah, I
because I would
wonder.
love to see like what that was like in Disneyland.
Yeah, I just wish that they
yeah.
would like clean up those tracks and use them. Like I get it. It would cost them money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So God forbid they consider it, but I feel like that would be awesome. I would love it, especially because I don't know. It would be
It's just a
so
great
again
it's a
nostalgic
great ride.
and
It's a great
amazing.
ride and like similar to here, the line doesn't normally take too long because it's constantly moving. It's a good break.
Yeah.
You're just, you can talk. Like it's I don't know. I like it's a
Yeah,
vibe. And I think Disneyland it already has so many vibes. It deserves this one.
it does.
Like,
Yeah.
It
you
does.
know?
That's like when I was in Disneyland. I was like, it was literally Point Disneyland for everything, right? Better Pirates of the Caribbean Point. I personally like Big Thunder better in Disneyland. So Point Disneyland,
Really?
Matterhorn, Point Disneyland. Like everything was Point Disneyland
Matterhorn was
except
closed when I was there.
I was like Point Disney World, the People Mover. So you put the People Mover in Disneyland, and you're talking you've perfection there.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
love
I
that.
am
Yeah.
excited that we're gonna have beignets in the park now, like Disneyland gets. So at least
But
that's
are
good.
they going to be good?
I don't know. Our
Who
beignets are
knows?
not as good as Disneyland's. Disneyland's beignets are correct. If I'm comparing them to New Orleans is what I'll say.
Right.
So if you go to New
Yeah.
Orleans and get
I
a
mean, they're
beignet,
good.
they're when you bite into it, they're like hollow in the center. They're super light. They're not bready, and also there's like a mountain of powdered sugar, like you can like have powdered sugar fights. And so Disneyland didn't have like a mountain of powdered sugar, but their texture was correct. It was hollow. It was really light and crisp on the outside. And the ones here are doughy. They're like thicker. They have pockets of air, but they're more like full
They're
of
not
dough.
hollow.
They're not hollow.
Yeah.
And so it's harder to eat like multiple of them. Like at Cafe Du Monde, I can at least eat 3, if not 6. In Disneyland, I think I ate 3, and here I can eat 1. I can eat like, and then I'm like,
Yeah.
eh. And you're
I like
also
them
the dipping sauce thing weirds me out too, but that's a different story. I don't know why we have dipping sauces. It's very confusing. You're
Yeah.
not supposed to have a
Who
dipping
knows?
sauce.
Um,
But I mean, like just going by New Orleans, there's no reason to add it's just powdered sugar. But I will say Disney World gives you a great amount of powdered sugar. Like because in Disneyland you just get like the bag and you shake it, and Disney World does they put a lot.
Yeah.
They,
oh yeah.
so I'm
That's
hoping
true.
that the park ones, if the park ones are similar to the hotel where they're thick, I'm hoping that they can at least like keep it simple and keep them tasty. But I know that they'll probably
Yeah.
be batch making
I'm
them
sure they
kind of
will.
more ahead of time. So that will be the thing. Because at the hotel, if you go in slower periods, like they come out piping hot. Like you get them in your
Oh
fingers.
yeah, you're waiting for them.
Yeah. Whereas I think in the
Yeah.
parks, they're going to have to figure out a way to kind of have them under a like continuous. So,
Heat lamp or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
yeah.
I'm
so
sure.
we will see. But I'm excited that we're at least
I
going
know.
to have that part of Disneyland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I wish we would get like a whole like New Orleans square because I loved that in Disneyland. I was like this is so
Yeah, it's
cool.
cool.
This is new. Everything was
Yeah.
very different and very very niche. And I was
I
like
really
this
wanted
is
to eat at
fun.
Blue
I like
Bayou,
this.
and I didn't get to.
Oh, I
I
know. Me
know.
too. Yeah, I didn't do that.
One day. One
One
day.
day.
I've eaten
One
there a few
day.
times throughout my
Is
life,
it
and it's
good?
yeah, it's good. It's really good. It's
Knew it.
the atmosphere is what you're really
Paying
paying
for.
for, but the food is really
Yeah.
good, and it's just beautiful in there. I love it. When I was
Yeah.
there, since they were redoing Pirates, like that was all kind of closed off, which
Oh.
stinks because, like, again, that's really
That's
the
why you're
What you pay
allure of
for.
going. But I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
add that too, please.
Still nice.
Like, put that on the list.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. We could do this
We
all
could
day.
do
We
this
could
for.
literally
That's why
talk
we chose
about.
one thing, but yeah, we could go on
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah,
I mean, we all love Disneyland so much, and we all want to go back. And if it wasn't so expensive, I'm sure we'd be there a lot more. But I mean, it's amazing. It's incredible. And phone a friend in California because you're gonna want some of those new buckets and sippers
Or-
and things coming out because they're incredible.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
Cool.
that's it for us. We wanted
Yeah.
to remind you guys that by listening to the podcast, if you use the discount code podcast10, PODCAST10, you get 10% off in the store. Shop the niche to
Yeah.
shopthenicheco.com. And yeah, that's just our little way of saying thank you so much for listening to us and hanging
Yeah.
out with us. If you watch us on YouTube, we really appreciate you guys. And if you have any ideas for Disneyland stickers, some of
I
them cross
know.
over, like Dirty Foot Pirate, and but if you have
Yeah.
any uniquely Disneyland ideas, let us know. Definitely submit
Yeah.
a suggestion on the site or DM us on Instagram,
Yeah.
on Threads.
Or any podcast topics.
Yeah.
I mean, we're always
Yeah.
we're always trying to look for new and fun things to talk about too.
Yeah.
So,
So let us know.
with designs and topics and just honestly DM us about anything. We're happy to talk to you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's it
Yeah.
for us. Thanks so much for listening,
Thanks,
and we'll
guys.
see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.